So, not this weekend right now, but the weekend, like, last weekend, I went to Walker Stalker Con Atlanta. This was my first convention, and I loved it. There were a few minor setbacks, but I'll get to those. And in this video, I'm going to tell you my Walker Stalker Con experience. So, it was about a 5-hour drive to Atlanta, and took forever because I've been waiting for this for however long. I bought the tickets in March, so from March to October, however long that is, I don't feel like counting right now. But we finally get there and we check into our hotel, and Walking Dead shirts everywhere. It's like you've entered Walking Dead land, but not like without the zombies. There were people dressed up as zombies, but they weren't actually going to try to bite you or anything. So we get to the con. This is on Friday, and we walk in, and my first thought was, oh my god, I'm here, because you see all these pictures of people meeting people, and yeah. you really want to do it, and then you finally get to, and it's really cool. So I looked to my left after I got in. It's this huge one room, and it's full of people. Friday there wasn't that many people there, which was kind of nice. And Friday spoiled us, by the way. Yeah. So we get there, and we look to the left, and it says celebrities this way. So we walk that way because, you know, why else would you go to a con? Anyway, so the first Walking Dead person that I would like to meet that I saw was Caitlin Nakin, and she plays Enid. So we got in line, and we only had general admission, which after you hear some of my stories, you'll understand that the next time I will try my hardest to get VIP, because general admission is... oh. Anyway, so we sat there, and if you have VIP, you get to jump in front of general admission. So, yeah. But, so we sat there, and she was meeting somebody, and then she met somebody in front of us in the general admission line. And we were sitting there like 2 feet from her, and I was like, oh my god. She met somebody out of the VIP line next, because they were kind of trying to weave us in and out. So we were the next person in the general admission line. And people kept coming in the VIP line, and then the volunteer that was at Caitlin's booth, she was like, y'all been waiting for a while, so you can go next. So we went, and she was so nice. Like, not in a weird way, but she smelled really good. And we got a picture, and it was really cool meeting. She was the first Walking Dead star that I met. I ended up meeting 10 in total. Yeah. So we took the picture, and we got out of her line because, well, yeah, we got out of her line and walked back to the middle of the celebrities. Like, you look around, and there's people here, and there's people here, and you're just like, oh my god, I've seen you all on TV. And yeah, so we went to Madison Lintz's line. She played Sophia from season 1 and 2, and she is gorgeous. So we walked up, and there wasn't anybody in her line, so we kind of just got to go. And so we got a picture, and when she stood up, she was like pretty much my height, and I'm pretty tall, so normally I don't see people that's my height, so it was pretty cool to see somebody who was my height. So yeah, and then next we got in line for Scott Wilson, and his line was a little bit like the wait for him was a little bit longer, because he wasn't there yet, because he was at photo ops. The stars go back and forth between photo ops and to their booth, so you can meet them. So we get up there, and after maybe a 30-minute wait, it wasn't that bad of a wait, we took a picture, and and I had told him that my mom cried when Herschel died, and he said, you should have heard me. And it was yeah, it was cool. But and he was nice, and it was really fun. So the con on Friday ended at 5, so we had a little bit more time. So we went to get in Josh McDermott's line, who plays Eugene. And I had heard from other people that he was really nice to me and stuff, and he was fun. So I went to, like, we got in his line. His line wasn't that long. Like, it was longer, but it didn't take long. So I forgot to tell you that pictures cost, like, it varies upon how much the celebrity was in the show. Like, Caitlin Akins was 20, and Josh McDermott is 40. Yeah. So we got up to him, and I had a selfie stick, and this is the first selfie stick I had brought out because we found out that he was the one taking the pictures. So, and there was 3 of us. It was me and my mom and my sister. And the person at his booth was, she said that we were the first person who had brought a selfie stick that day, and that he was going to have fun with it. So we get up to him and we greet him, and we get ready to take a picture, and I handed him the selfie stick with my phone in it I was like, we're going to take a picture if that's okay. And he was like, he didn't really know how to use it, so I kind of had to explain it to him a little bit. He actually took 2 of them with pretty much just him trying to figure out how to do it, and it was pretty funny. And then we took some regular selfies, and then he put the selfie stick on the floor, and it was like, everybody lean over, like, take a picture, like, looking at the floor. It was really fun. He was one of the funnest people that we met. And that time the con was pretty close to ending, so we went ahead and left. We went back to the hotel and tried to go to sleep. Considering how I was going to meet the next day, it was very hard for me to go to sleep, and I was pretty much up all Friday night. So we got up Saturday, and Saturday we had planned to meet Denai Guerrera and Chandler Riggs, but we changed it because Chandler was going to be there on Sunday, and we really wanted to meet Norman. So Saturday we had planned to meet Denai and Norman. So we get there and we go to get in Denai's line, she's really pretty, by the way. She's beautiful. And we find out that you're not allowed to take pictures unless you pay for a photo op. And so we got out of her line to go look at photo ops because you want to take a picture with these people, because you want to see these, like, you want to remember, like, pictures and stuff. They said that you can only get autographs. So we went to the photo op line to see what we could get, because we found out that Friday had spoiled us, and Saturday the bigger people like Michonne, which is Denai and Norman and all those people, you're not supposed to take pictures with them. You can only buy a photo op. So we went to the photo op to see how that was, to see how much it was, and we were going to buy it, and then they told us that me and my sister and my mom could not be in the same photo op, so we didn't do that. So we went to, my mom got pretty mad because, yeah, she got excited Friday because of the way it was going Friday, and she was loving it. And then Saturday she kind of got pretty upset because we couldn't do pictures. So yeah, we went to get in line for Norman, and they said that general admission could not get in his line until 2, and it was like 11. So we went to find Stephen Yeun, who plays Glenn, and he was really nice. He's one of the people who's in the show a lot, and when I saw him, I was like, oh my god. I'm a super fanboy, by the way, if you can't tell. But so we went, we were in his line, and his line didn't take that long. It was probably about a 45-minute wait. and we get up to him, and he looked kind of sad, but like we were in line at this point, and he looked kind of sad. And then there's this girl, two people ahead of us, and she came from New York. She told us this. She came from New York to bring him these gifts that she had, and it was really cute because in their picture, like they got like Steven was allowing pictures, so that was really cool. So they got their picture, and she asked him if they could like be eating the Kit Kat out of her bag for right during their picture. It was really cute. And she walked away after they met, and then the next person walked up, and he had his mouth full, and he was like, "Hey!" It was really funny. So we're next in line, and we get up there, and normally I try to find something to say to them to start a conversation, like a small conversation. And I had already told my mom what I was going to ask. So we got up there and we greeted him and we told him our names and we took the picture. And I started to walk away because I kind of forgot what I was like. I forgot that I had a question. So my mom was still talking to him when I started to walk away, and she told him I had a question. So he was like, "Hey, wait, come back." So I turned around and I came back, and my mom was like, "Don't you have a question?" I was like, "Oh yeah." So I was like, "So if I draw you, how could I get you to see it?" And he was um, he sat there for a couple seconds trying to think. And then, me being the fanboy I am, knowing he has Twitter, I said, "Don't you have a Twitter?" And he said, "Yeah." And he was like, "What's your Twitter handle?" And then I pulled the game because I have so many accounts on everything. It's crazy. So I was like, "Can I give it to you?" Like, he just asked me what my Twitter name was. Duh. So he handed me a piece of paper, and he's like, "Sure, you can give it. You can write it down or something." So I wrote it down, and when I got home, when I got back to the hotel, I kind of realized that I gave him the wrong one. So as soon as I got the chance to, I changed it to the one I gave him. They told us in Steven's line not to ask any questions about this past episode at all, which seemed kind of suspicious, but it didn't really bother me. I mean, I'm sitting here meeting him, so. So we wanted to go in Norman's line, and it was 12:30, so it wasn't quite 2 yet. And they had told us not to, they weren't going to let us get in line yet. So people started, lining up outside of where you're supposed to get in line, which is really cool because the way it played out, they ended up letting us get in line way before 2. They ended up letting us get in line at 12:30, and me and my sister and my mom actually got a really good spot in the general admission line. So once we got up there, once we got in line, he still wasn't out yet, and we waited from 12:30 to 4 o'clock to meet him. Back to the 4-hour wait, I sat down because my legs and my back were all hurting because we had been standing for 2 or 3 hours. So I sat down on the floor. And that's when it kind of hit me that I was meeting people from my favorite show. And it was finally happening that I was meeting the people that I have watched on TV for however long. This ended up being the first autograph that I got because you want to remember it because, we weren't really allowed to get pictures. So you want to remember that you met this person. So, yeah, this was the first autograph I got. He was extremely nice, but they told us that we only had 5 minutes and we were kind of rushing to get through so other people could meet him, and because he had to go to photo ops. So we were next in line, and my sister's in front of me, and it's me, and then it's my mom, and he was letting go of the person in front of us, telling them bye because they got a hug. And he looks at my sister and goes, "Come here, sweetie." And she was like, "Ah." And she got a hug. He's like, "Hey, brother," and I got a fist bump. And then my mom, he called my mom sweetie, and she got a hug too. She said she kissed him on the cheek, but yeah. So we got him to sign it. He was like, "So who do I make this out to?" And we told him that it was okay, that he didn't really have to personalize it because they told us to kind of go ahead and go because we were trying to be generous to the people behind us because he was fixing to leave for the rest of that day. So we told him that he didn't have to personalize it, and so we got the autograph, and we told him bye, and we kind of walked away. And then we had time for one more person that day, and I had been wanting to meet Chandler Riggs, who plays Carl. So we got in his line, and his line went by pretty fast. But so this was another autograph that we got because we couldn't take pictures with him either. So we get up there, and we're next in line, and my sister looks at me and goes, "I'm going to do it." And she was saying that by that she meant she was going to embarrass me because I embarrassed my mom in front of Scott Wilson by saying that she cried when Herschel died. So when we get up next in line, my goal was to get a fist bump from Chandler and Norman because they're two of my favorite characters. So we got up there, and we greeted him, and we told him our names, and I got my fist bump, and my sister looks at him and goes, "I just want you to know that he's had the pudding scene as his PlayStation background for 8 months now." And he just started laughing. So then I was like, "Hey, it's a good scene." And he was like, "Oh, it's all cool," or something like that. So we got the autograph, and we told him bye. And then it was time to go home because the con on Saturday ended at 5. So we went to the hotel, and we sat down for a little bit because we were super tired. Even though we had only met 3 people that day, it's still super tiring. So we had heard stories that that celebrities were in our hotel. So we wanted to not stalk people, but we wanted to go look around. So my mom and my sister went to go get a drink in a little restaurant beside, like in the hotel lobby. So I went to go find a seat, and I came around the corner, and I see Greg Nicotero. If you don't know who Greg Nicotero is, he does the zombies, and he does special effects and stuff like that. So I kind of ran to my mom, and I was like, "Greg Nicotero's over there." And she didn't really believe me at first, but I was like, "No, really." So we walked over there, and my mom asked him if we could get a picture. He said it was cool to get a picture. And but he said we had to kind of hurry because he was busy. And then we went to sit down and in the lobby and just sit down for a second. So we looked over, and he was still sitting there. Like, we're sitting in the same room as Greg Nicotero, and yeah, it was really cool. So after that, me and my mom and my sister, we went outside in Olympic Centennial Park and kind of just ran around and joked and took pictures, and yeah, it was fun. So we get back to the hotel, and we're all super sleepy, and we're in our pajamas, and we're in bed actually, but we're all awake sitting there talking. We heard a scuffle outside, and I was like, "Mama, somebody's out there." And she said my mom heard somebody say, "So you're Norman Reedus." And I jumped up. So I looked out the little peephole, and I saw security guards, which is the first sign. And my mom looked, and she also saw the security guard. So I looked back through the peephole, and I see somebody with Norman's hair and a white shirt. And I had told my mom that he was in a white shirt. And I was like, "That's him." So I ran outside, and by the time I got to where they were, the elevator door shut. So I didn't quite get to know if it was him for sure. But he had posted on Instagram that night the picture of right in front of his room, the room service. And our floor looked exactly like his. So I'm pretty sure Norman was on our floor, which was really cool. And then the next day we woke up, and I found pictures from the after party, which was Norman was a special guest at, which is another reason we think it could have been him. And he ended up being in a white shirt. I think Norman was on our floor. So, yeah. So that morning, my mom really wanted a coffee, and so they went to get a coffee, and I sat down on the couch because our hotel was connected to the con, And then Andrew J. West walks up, like he walks by me, and I was like I'm a super fanboy, so I was kind of starstruck. But I was like, hey, and he said hey, and he kept going. I didn't really want to stop him because he was on the way to the con. So I kind of ran to my mom and told her about that one too, because I felt like every time that her and my sister went to go get a drink, that a celebrity would walk by. So they came and sat down with me, and they started drinking their coffee, and Tyler James Williams walks by, and he plays Noah. And my sister goes, hey, there's Noah. And I was like, and I started making sounds. And he heard me and turned around and says, hey, or something like that. He waved and kept going. So, yeah. So Sunday, our only person that we were planned to meet was Andrew Lincoln. And we found out that as soon as we got there, we ran to where he was going to be. And everything was sold out. Like, you couldn't even see him because they had, like, black tarps up. And, yeah. So, we did not get to see Andrew Lincoln at all. Which was kind of bummer, but, yeah. So, we wanted to go meet Melissa McBride. So, we went to get in her line, and we waited in her line. And they cut the line off in front of us, and they gave us these tickets that we could come back at a certain time after her photo ops so we could meet her. And so we were like, what do we do now? So we walked to Andrew West's booth so we could meet him again. And we got up there and we took our picture, and I was like, I saw you earlier. And he was like, this morning, right in the hotel? He was like, I thought I saw you. And I was like, this dude remembered me. So it was kind of cool. So he was one of the ones that you could get a picture with, so we got one. And then we walked away. So we kind of walked around the con at this point because we had spent a lot of money. And so we found Tyler James Williams, who was really nice. Tyler James Williams and Andrew West and Josh McDermott were the funnest three to meet because they made the experience really cool because they talked to you for a little bit. And I know that the bigger stars don't really have a choice, but ooh. And we got to talk to the bigger stars too, but those three made it fun. I mean, not that the bigger stars weren't fun, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so we walk up to Tyler James Williams' booth, and by the time we get there, he was dancing because he had a music playing, and he was kind of dancing a little bit. And my mom walks up and she's like, I see you dancing, or something like that. And he was like, yeah. He was like, it's my coffee. And it was really cool. So he was talking to us. He's like, so where are you guys from? And we were like, so we're from Alabama. And he says, oh, that's cool. He was like, so you go for Roll Tide or War Eagle, which is like Alabama or Auburn's college football teams. And we told him that we went for Alabama. And he said, yeah, that's really cool. He's like, everybody on that team could just go straight to pro. He was like, everybody's always talking about how they're really good. And he was like, me and my friend are from Memphis, which is Tennessee, which is the state right above us. So it was pretty cool. And so we went to take our picture, and my mom had on an Alabama shirt, like the football team shirt. And he was like, oh, I should have just looked at your shirt. And so we took the picture, and we walked away. And at this time, it was pretty close to Melissa McBride's. It was time to go see her. So we got in her line again and waited and waited and waited because Platinum VIP and wheelchairs kept coming up. And if you're in a wheelchair, you go before the line. So we waited, and then we finally get to meet her, and she's really small. She was so sweet, and she talks to you for a while. But the man had told us to try to not to talk to her for a long time because there's people and everybody in line wants to meet her. So this was the last autograph that we got, and she talked to us for a little bit. And so we got the autograph, and we told her to say "to the Knights," and it says "just look at the flowers," and that's her name. And my mom asked her if I could snap a quick picture while she was signing, and she didn't mind. And she had been sick. She had a cold, so yeah, I wanted to thank her and all the other celebrities for coming to the con so we could meet them, because it made just the experience amazing, and it was really great. Then it was time to go. But while I was at this con, I got to meet a really good number of internet friends that I had talked to, but on my Instagram fan page. And I met Casey, who was also in DS7 with me, and Azaria, who... Casey is Chemical Chandler. Azaria is OMG.Chandler, and it's like 5 numbers. I'm sorry, Azaria, if you're watching this. I just can't remember those numbers. Then Sophia, she's Sophia.Montero, I think. We met Hunter, and I cannot think of her account name right now for some reason. We met Sarah, who gave me this, and that's the.carl.papa, and I met Shelby, and I don't think she has a fan page. I don't think her nor Hunter has a fan page. But I was supposed to meet Kelsey, who is claimed _ Chandler, but I did not get to meet her. So overall, it was a really good experience. If you do go to any Walker Stalker Con, please try your best to get VIP. I know some people can't afford it, and if you can't, then it's okay, because I had general admission for 3 days, and I met 10 actors, which is pretty successful, but you'll have to wait a lot longer. And please remember to eat, and if you have questions, you may comment them down below, and if I cannot answer them, then I will refer them to OMG CHVNDLER, which is oh my god Chandler with a V where the A is supposed to be, my friend Kiara, and she knows a lot about cons, so she might be able to answer it if I can't. So thank you for watching. Bye.